It's on!
Hey, everybody, welcome. That was a little loud for being at work. Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Disney Parks Talk Live, the weekly show in which this quartet of intelligent beings discuss what's going on in the world of Disney theme parks with melody and all.
Wait, who's Melody?
My name is Doobie. So it's nice that we can do these intros and get a sense of where Jeremiah is for this particular show, and now we know. My name is Doobie, co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is Rebecca Mosley, my wife, the other co-founder.
Hi.
Down there is our vice president in charge of Southern California theme parks, Star Wars, and anything else that he feels like working on, Mike Celestino.
Hello.
And down below me is our vice president of never paid for a shirt in his life, Jeremiah Good.
So not true.
Did you
Hi.
pay for this one?
I did not.
Okay, well then do your thing.
This shirt, Cars theme, thanks to the fine folks at Roosevelt's, providing great clothing to the LP staff since sometime last year.
Great clothing at a sensible price.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Deborah, hey, Gio, happy joyous of all days of the year. Happy tax day. Everyone gets their taxes done on time?
Yes.
Me too. Didn't think I would, but my accountant got them back to me in 2 days, so I got them done on Friday. All right, let's get started here. Let me ask you, Jeremiah. If you were to have to rename a theme park, could you have come up with a name as good as the one that they chose for the Studio Paris park, which will now be called Disney Adventure World?
The only way I could come up with a better name is if I were to call it Disney Adventure World California or Disney Adventure World Florida.
So our good friend Edith Galvin, who goes to Paris a lot, and she has a very popular Disneyland Paris TikTok, called the name divisive. Has anyone heard anyone that likes the name? That's what I thought. All right, so Disney Studios Paris has announced they are going to be changing the name of their park. The second time that resort has changed the name of a park. This one will become Disney Adventure World. You may recall Disneyland Paris was one time known as Euro Disneyland. Disney Adventure World will get that new name when the World of Frozen opens, which does not yet have an opening date, but essentially it will become a very different park than it was originally envisioned. Tom Fitzgerald, who Rebecca talked to just last week, had this quote: "Today, we are changing the story of Walt Disney Studios Park, evolving from how it's done, sound stages, to celebratory theaters and adventures that come to life in immersive worlds. These fully realized adventure worlds will become the focus of the park's new identity and appear as realms that guests discover as they navigate deeper within the park and are invited to participate in adventures inspired by our most beloved stories." There you go. Any thoughts on not only the name change, but what is this? Why is Laughing Place commenting? Any thoughts? Not only the name change, but the theme change. Jeremiah, someone who's been to Disneyland Paris dozens of times. I'll let you go first.
I'm trying to count if I've been there that
I
many
know. I was
in my visits.
Timeline, Jeremiah, thinking like being to do math.
We'll get used to it. I like that the overall it's a new umbrella, because that park, since I first visited there 5 years ago, like literally yesterday, 5 years ago. The park has never been a studio park. I mean, I understand when you're open, they tried to put that together just because it was an easy lift from everything at Disney MGM Studios. Frozen definitely changes it up. I mean, it's really, there's the Pixar land, there's the Marvel land, there's Frozen land, and then there's some random thing in the middle that has Tower of Terror. And that's kind of what it's going to be still. I do believe that this could be the first time that we see this name with at least one, possibly two more times for a different branding of it to come.
Do you think Laughing Place is accurate in the comments there?
Yes, it'll be in the new ship. Yes.
I think so.
No, Disney California Adventure hasn't been a California Adventure in a long time. Disney Adventure World California. Let's do it a third time. Maybe Gideon
Wow.
finally get his wish for studios out here also.
I hope not, because one of the only positive thing, not the only, one of the positive things about this new name, as far as I'm concerned, is it will no longer be confusing when you say studios. You'll now know for sure that you're talking about Walt Disney World. They've also any other thoughts? Sorry, Rebecca, what do you think of the name? Any thoughts at all?
I'm excited to see what the transformation of the location looks like, because I mean, clearly this is part of a kind of what we saw. It seems to me, as somebody who hasn't been to this park yet, it seems to me that this is going to be kind of similar to what we saw with California's park, in that you're going to see a transformation of the entry zone. You're going to have the addition of this. They're going to have what world premiere. They're going to have something called Adventure Way. I don't know. It sounds like they're going to go much more into kind of the thematic set establishment dynamic, like I say, like we have now with the entrance of California Adventure, whereas before I think it didn't have. It had kind of simplistic. I don't know. It was layered, but not what people wanted. I mean, I liked it. I liked the postcard look. But but now it's kind of like establishing a specific location and kind of a world. So that's why they're going with Adventure World. But I mean, like I say, I'm excited to see what the transformation, how it takes shape, what we see happening with it.
I completely forgot about the Tangled Teacups. That ride is one of those. Like everything they announced.
And a restaurant, right? Teacups and restaurant.
Is there a restaurant, or is it just a quick service?
My memory was there was also a restaurant.
The Regal View Restaurant and Lounge, a stylish table service restaurant that will offer guests spectacular views over Adventure Bay, along with a chance to meet some of their favorite Disney princesses. So the opposite.
And like I say, I'm not as familiar with this park. I mean, I hopefully will be after I visit it. Yay! I actually have a trip planned, but so I'm excited because we're going to go just before this transformation kind of gets underway. So it'll be nice, and then hopefully I'll be able to see it, after. So
no, when you get out there, the transformation is well underway. True. When I was out there just a few months ago, one day there was this wide open entry area when you came out of stage 1, and now it's like walls. Where the Adventure Bay, which again just a weird name, is, that used to be the tram tour, and that area back there in the Lights Motor Action arena. So it's very interesting to see their idea of what this park is going to become, and I think it will be an amazing park, which is saying a lot, because out of the 12 parks, this has always been at the bottom of the 12 for many people.
What's interesting to me is the dynamic I see with this change and what's being announced as coming with what I know some people want to fault Disney for the IP focus, but I feel like they're shoring up what I think of as quintessential Disney brand within their parks. So with these kinds of things, we're seeing much more of the kind of that, like I say, back to what aspects of the Disney company to me are quintessential Disney. At the very same time, we're seeing their Disney Plus brand with the Hulu on Disney Plus kind of get watered down in a way to me as a brand. And so it's an interesting dichotomy of entertainment choices with theme parks versus streaming.
Did you not hear about the new Vanderpump House they announced for this park?
No, stop. No, but that kind of thing is interesting. A friend of ours was just at California Adventure, and they have flyers at the Magic Key Terrace for Vanderpump Villas, which is a Hulu on, the part of the kind of this Hulu on Disney Plus dynamic. And California Adventure was kind of that was like part of what California Adventure was, right? You had the ABC soap opera bistro and ABC primetime weekends. And, it seemed like that was kind of being heavily embraced with, Disney is more than just Disney. It's also, all of this. It's like they weren't even it was a big thing. The characters, the ads for it, the characters were like looking over the wall at Disneyland. They weren't even going to be there. It was kind of the concept. And now it's like, we're way over on the other side of the spectrum right now, it seems, with the Disney park. So it's interesting.
It is interesting, and hope it becomes even more interesting if they kind of push the boundaries of what IP they consider appropriate for the park. But so far they haven't, and I don't expect that they will. But yeah, that would go a whole different level. By the way, Danielle says Vanderpump Village is good. I binge watched it yesterday. I remember meeting Susan Lucci for about the weekend. This stuff does tend to be cyclical. I mean, DCA, as you said, hip and edgy DCA opened up with Soap Opera Bistro, which, 20 years ago, that's pretty edgy for a Disney park. But the characters weren't there. It was a whole different thing. So we'll see.
Across the street from the casting couch.
Exactly, from Philip A. Couch. So, we'll see what Disney decides. And I forget about stuff like that because all the Hulu at Disney bugs me too. I shouldn't say too. I don't know who it bugs, but it bugs me. But it's easy to forget how it's not completely new, how DCA in a lot of ways was exactly leaning into that. And even once they gave up on the no characters here, that doesn't mean they got rid of the other stuff. Soap Opera Bistro was there at the same time as Max and Lafitte. So.
Oh, Danielle, I'm so here too. In with the Vanderpump, the Real Housewives, but nope, no Kardashians. I don't know why. I'm similarly wired.
All right, so continuing on, Disneyland Paris, they've also announced a new Alice show is coming to the park. It is called something I will tell you in just a moment.
The costumes are amazing for this.
Alice and the Queen of Hearts Back to Wonderland, and it opens on May 25th, which is good for us, Rebecca.
I know. By the way, Luke has amazing coverage. He has been at Disneyland Paris and the parks there, and he has all kinds of videos available on our YouTube. He just wrote up his experience kind of at an event to bid farewell to Stage One, Studio One, and I don't know the names well, sorry, but he had it right. I'm gonna get it wrong.
I don't know. I'm sure Jeremiah knows, right?
Yeah, it's Stage One. It's just the entrance area. That's part of the entire park's getting a nice facelift.
Would you wear this? Wait, go back to the Mad Hatter. I want to know if Mike Celestino is going to cosplay as this at future events.
Yeah, look for me, D23 in that outfit.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Please do.
Kyle and Tony jumping into my
Studio One. So these are costumes for the Alice and the Queen of Hearts Back to Wonderland show coming May 25th.
Can I ask, what is that drawing on the card behind him? What is that supposed to be?
The Alice? There?
That's Alice herself.
That's Alice?
Yeah, it's like the blonde hair, the face, the blue collar.
Oh, she just doesn't have a face.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
All right, see, there's the queen. That's the king, right? Is that the queen or the king?
That's a queen.
Okay.
Queen.
Oh, this one's really beautiful. All right, I'll show one more costume here. So, yeah,
they're going flowers.
I feel like when you do a show in Paris, you're obligated to have incredible costuming. You can't just get away with cheaping out there. You are in the fashion capital of the world. Orlando does not, as much as I love Orlando, it is not known as the fashion capital of the world.
By the way, this is where my Stage One came from, right? That long Muppet store at Hollywood Studios.
Wait, time out. Stage One at the Muppet, that's not open anymore?
Moving right along.
It hasn't been open very good. It hasn't been open in a very long time.
Did it permanently? Has it officially closed? Because it closed.
I don't know that it's officially closed, but it hasn't been open in a very long time.
No, it hasn't reopened since the pandemic, really.
Yeah.
That and the Christmas shop are going to reopen any day now. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Along with the entry shop, when you get into the entrance, past the security for Animal Kingdom, yes.
Yeah, that one's closed too, huh?
Oh yeah, you're right.
The candy shop at Frontierland is still closed.
Jeremiah. Right, we're going to continue on with good stuff. Disney Village, which is kind of the downtown Disney area of Disneyland Paris. is also undergoing some major changes. And Jeremiah, those changes are underway as well, right?
Yes, they have been underway. Late last year, they opened up one of the first restaurants out there. I'm not going to try to butcher the name, but they've been working. Disney Village, since it opened, has very much looked like the old Disney store that used to be across or near Disneyland. And now they're getting a beautiful facelift, and the shops will hopefully come across very nice. I'm sad that Annette's Diner is getting a retheme because every time I've been out there, I've always wanted to go to it, but I still haven't gotten a chance to.
Doobie, can you go back to that first picture so I can get you to focus on the most important aspect of that photo? Look at that. What do you think is the most important aspect of this picture to your wife? How well do you know your wife?
Oh, goodness, I feel really inept right now because I feel like I know you very well. But
look at the island, the landscape island there. What do you see in that landscape island?
Spectroman?
Oh no, not quite, but kinetic art.
Oh, is that? See, I didn't get this since that was kinetic, but yes.
Yeah, I believe that it's either those things that we were seeing in front of the castle that were so beautiful and on my to-do list, Disney bucket list, or it's like a kind of a revisioning of them or something. It's just, yay, whirligigs! I love whirligigs.
Those are. I should have known that.
Yep. Whirligigs.
So. Let's see. There, by the end of 2020, by the end of this year, there will be 2 new shop concepts: a lifestyle that combines Disney fashion and Disney gallery spaces, as well as a Disney home. The Disney store itself is getting a big refresh. The Lego store there, where's my picture of the Lego store, is also going to be improved.
Aww. With giant minifigs. Look at those, Mike.
Sounds just like downtown Disney is being relocated to Paris.
Did you say giant minifigs? Isn't that like
look at them. They're giant minifigs.
Just figs at that point, I think. Yeah.
And then a new art piece they're going to be installing, which pays homage to the multi-plane camera. So cool stuff. This whole place is getting so cool. And
that's pretty.
At Disneyland Paris itself, they announced that the Sky Parade, that does run in Paris, right? I mean,
correct.
Paris.
Yeah.
The Sky Parade has been extended through January 6, 2025. You all know what that is, that incredible drone show. It is known that kind of does the electrical parade in the sky via drones. It is amazing. I hope you've seen our video, one of our many videos here on YouTube, including, I believe, our best performing Instagram of all time. Way to go, yes. Jeremiah. Just crazy. And I can't believe that, weather permitting, I will be seeing the show in person. I'm so excited. So excited to see this thing.
Yeah. The only sad thing about that news, which kind of leads into the next story of the Doctor Strange or the stuff that's going on in the Avengers campus, is the Avengers or the Marvel show won't be returning to whatever we want to call that park, because the drones, they only have the 500 drones that they would switch in between the 2 parks whenever they do it. But the Electric Sky Parade is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Cool.
I believe they are kinetic bananas. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, that's one that popped up. Yep, looked like bananas.
Okay, Jeremiah, you mentioned the Doctor Strange activation. I'm with Gideon. I don't like that word. Tell us about it.
We don't know much about it other than it will be taking place in the Avengers campus area on the web building. They do have shows there, much like in Avengers campus here, where it's on the web building, but they don't have the Stuntronic or any of that stuff like they have at DCA. So we don't really know what exactly this show is going to be. It's definitely going to have Doctor Strange. We're hopefully some portals, bringing some of the characters in. So it could be a version of the Doctor Strange type show that they do in DCA. But that's going to fill up the night time, which is nice because they would have to close the Avengers campus area for the drone show, and that would kind of cut off a lot of guests wanting to get into that area for the evening to ride web slingers.
And as Tony points out, and I know Jeremiah knows, the Walt Disney Studios Park is going to keep that name until they said when World of Frozen opens is also when this new name they've announced, Disney Adventure World, will take name, and we have not had an opening date yet for World of Frozen. So it's kind of we're in this world between worlds.
That's the multiverse or something, isn't it? So anyway, that's what's going on in Disneyland Paris. Tons and tons and tons of coverage on our website, on our YouTube channel. Please check that out. Thank you, Luke Manning, for covering all that for us. We will move on now, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to reintroduce to you once again our Vice President in charge of Southern California Theme Park, Mike Celestino, as we turn the show over to him as he tells us why we need to stop Disney Angels corruption.
So at the end of last week, I went to an open house. No, this was Wednesday last week. I went to an open house for Disneyland Forward. And it's the last one of these really events to come up before the vote. The vote is happening tomorrow, but as I've discovered, this is not the final vote. If it passes the vote tomorrow, I think there's another vote on May 10th.
The final vote?
That's the final vote. So I was thinking tomorrow was the final vote, but apparently I was wrong. Anyway, Disneyland Forward is the campaign to get the city of Anaheim to kind of lift the zoning restrictions on the Disney-owned property around the Anaheim resort area. Basically, they want to build theme park space and other stuff like shops and dining space on the parking lots, the existing parking lots. They had this open house. There was a big meeting at the Anaheim Community Center, and outside there were these signs. These were people who are not so supportive of the project. They had some of the signs were clever. Most of the people are upset about one street called Magic Way, which is right by the Pixar Palace parking structure, which is right now it's open to public traffic, but part of the proposal is to shut that traffic down. So Walt is weeping because of that, I guess. And yeah, then we got inside and there were tables and booths set up with all the different departments. It was like public safety, which was the fire and police presence that will be increasing should the project go through. Then there was traffic and roads. There was environmental study. There was the actual project itself, what that entailed. And yeah, you can see this is the timeline of the changes that would be made to the roads surrounding the Disneyland Resort.
Were there any presentations, or it's just walk around and?
No, this was all. The whole idea of this was you could come and meet the people who were involved in planning it and have your questions answered. They didn't do any presentations. It was really just kind of like a meet and greet to get whatever final questions you had addressed or answered by the folks who knew. And this was the table of snacks and water.
Any gluten-free for you?
No, I did have a bottle of water though while I was there. Okay. Took full advantage of that. But yeah, it's always very interesting to learn more about Disneyland Forward. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was all coming to an end tomorrow, but not the case. We'll have to wait till kind of mid-May before we know. I think it's mid-May or something around then. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Cool. Well, that's
Mike's been following that for a while. So if you click on the article that'll be linked below, you can look back and see kind of all the different things all the different presentations and whatnot that have happened up to this point. I know there was talk last time kind of about that Magic Way shutdown and some of the studies that were done regarding the amount of traffic on it and that type of thing, so that so that people involved in the vote could be making a informed decision based upon community input and Disney input as well. So.
And there's a lot riding on these votes. I think people are excited to get more details about what they have planned for the future of Disneyland Resort, and they can't really say anything specific. We know that they want to build the Avatar Pandora land here. But beyond that, we really don't know too much in the way of specifics. And I don't think we will know until after this vote. If the project gets approved, then in all likelihood, I would think at D23 this year, we'll get more details.
Yeah, Jeremiah.
So I was just looking like I was thinking where Disneyland Drive was Magic Way. Magic Way is that small road that cuts between the Pixar Pals and the Disneyland Hotel.
Yes.
There is not a lot of traffic on that. I I really want to hear the people that are complaining about this because I know that people, because I used to drive that area because I had to work at downtown Disney, but that is not a main throughway. So
Yeah.
No, but if
That
it's your freeway, then you're gonna feel passionate about it.
yeah,
So,
and there are people who I've seen at many of these meetings who are very passionate about it. And yes, they did talk about doing. They were very clear to specify it was not a study, but a count
thank you.
on I think a weekend day and a weekday day of the amount of cars going down that street who were not going to Disneyland. And it was a very small number. But
yeah.
yes, those people who do use that as a cut through to get onto Disneyland Drive and then go up to the 5, I guess they don't want to lose that as part of their daily commute.
Yeah, but Disneyland Drive, that light is one of the worst in Southern California.
Right.
And I appreciate that they're not talking about that they are going to have to shut down Disneyland Drive for
That
long points
so
of
that
time.
actually was part of the plan at the beginning, which I learned. They were planning on shutting down Disneyland Drive, and I think that got taken out of the proposal pretty early on because they knew that people would not be happy
Well,
about it. Or,
if they're going to build bridges over
yeah,
it somehow, there's going to be some like mass construction time on it. So,
right.
okay, anyway,
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite memories, though, of the building of DCA was the time that we drove to dinner on. We drove to dinner at the hotel. We parked in Mickey and Friends, right? And we were and no, we parked in. It must have been Mickey and Friends because you had to walk
Oh yeah.
walk or whatever to get there. We drove on one side of the road one way north, and then when we drove home on that same road south, the other side had been opened because they were moving the street. I forget which way. I forget if it moved further east or if it moved further west, but I just remember that for the longest time we saw that street under construction, but only construction vehicles. And then suddenly we drove home on it from dinner one night, and it was like, whoa, we're on a different road. It was fun. So yeah, silly memory. But whenever you guys are talking about the shutdown of Magic Way and Disneyland Drive and all that, I think of that moment.
Thanks. Sorry about running out real quick. I'm back. All right, next up we have a topic which I got to tell you, I am so glad that our show was on Monday and this came out on Tuesday and now it's already old news. So the DAS Pass has changed or will be changing at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. DAS being the Disability Access Service, the way that those who are unable to wait in a queue are able to instead get a return time to come back to the attraction. Changes go into effect May 20th at Walt Disney World and June 18th at Disneyland. Lots of changes, lots of discussion about this. You can read a lot about it on our discussion boards. The major change is who is eligible for it. Currently, if I'm not mistaken, what?
He's confused because he doesn't know that we have discussion boards.
Did I say discussion boards? Oh my goodness.
yes.
Wow. That is not what I meant to say.
I did.
It's like, wow, did we jump in the Wayback Machine, Doobie? Who's moderating this now?
All right. Lots of discussions happening on X and everywhere, frankly, on this. So if you want to get into some debates, they're out there, but not our discussion boards. The major change is who is eligible. Up until now, eligibility has been for those who are developmentally disabled as well as physically disabled. It will change to only be eligible for those who are developmentally disabled, that is people like autism. If you're physically disabled, then you are expected to instead use a wheelchair. They've even said you can use canes that have chairs attached, which is a relatively new thing. That wasn't always the case that you could bring those into the park and use those, but they have explicitly said that you can now. The enrollment period will jump from 60 to 120 days. Eligibility for Walt Disney World will be done ahead of time only. I believe at Disneyland they are still going to allow you to do it once you get to the park, as well as ahead of time.
At the ticket booth outside the park, so there won't be any hour-long waits at City Hall anymore. Sorry to jump into that. That's one of the
thank you for jumping in.
exciting parts for me. As I've said in all my statements, I have no horse in this race. I'm not making a comment one way or another, but the things that do excite me the most are there won't be an hour wait at City Hall, at Magic Kingdom, or Disneyland, and people that need to go into City Hall for other reasons now won't have to navigate that.
There was some speculation that Disney was going to completely outsource this service to a third party. That turned out not to be the case. They are enlisting a third party for assistance, but you will still deal with Disney cast members directly for everything, and then Disney, where necessary, will give advice from other, but the guests won't deal with those. Disney is still very much involved, and it seems Disney is still the decision maker on everything. For obvious reasons, a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say about this. Does anybody here have anything to say about this? I'm fine with that as well. Let's see. Let's get back to some happy talk. And that is a new attraction apparently is coming to Walt Disney World in summer. Are they still saying summer? Can we get something a little bit more specific here, guys?
No, still summer.
Still summer. And Jeremiah, are these? No, that's not your picture. That's from Disney. Why don't you just give us an update on what's going on in the Critter Co-op, all that kind of stuff, Jeremiah?
Are you sure it's not my picture?
Oh, now this one is. The Instagram wasn't, but this one probably is.
No, that's my. I had a bottle of water. Yes, the shops around Tiana's Bayou Adventure have been renamed. There is the Critter Co-op, which used to be the Briar Patch, and I can't think of the name of the other one because I couldn't get a picture of the sign because it's behind trees. But the Critter Co-op, just this shop, the exterior has a cute little sign, has two cute little signs, and then they've already done window displays, and there was some really fun things to look at and take in. Easter eggs that are teasing us for what's coming up. Thank you.
The other name. I didn't want to interrupt you, but
yes. And I have some pictures looking down into the queue. I talked about it last time I was there, but this time I actually went up and got on the railroad, looked down. The truck, I can confirm, is not in the exterior queue that we talked about last week. So that probably will be, as I was saying, just inside the barn. But yeah, all of this stuff is just, I was sitting there for probably a half hour looking at all these, reading them all, giggling, looking for any tributes to any past attractions. That I really hope is, they do some good postcards or mini posters for this, because that would be a fun one to have.
Lots and lots of details. Jeremiah took some time to get some really great pictures, so definitely invite you to go check this out. I'll even put a link in the chat. Something I rarely do. Go check that out.
I want Tiana hot sauce already.
Dude, her food at Disneyland is so good. I'm excited for whatever else she brings.
Yeah, but I'm still frustrated that they didn't go with a fun. Let's offer a Tiana hot sauce.
They don't sell one at Eudora?
The known quantities.
Tiana's mother is Eudora.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that the name of her shop over there in Nolan Square?
Yeah.
They didn't put a hot sauce in there?
They have regular hot sauce, and they have beignet mix from one of my favorite places. Yes. But yeah, nothing branded as the hot sauce, because I'm sure the legal to try to get through that is a very long list of things they'd have to jump through.
Now, it's clear that obviously Disney World, Tiana's Bayou Adventure construction, head of Disneyland's. So Jeremiah is working hard getting a jump on all the pictures. But Mike, are you looking forward to having to get similar stuff over at Disneyland over the next few months?
I am really looking forward to it. Yeah, I've been curious to see how that's been shaping up. Each visit, there's always something new to look at behind those walls.
Do not climb over the walls. We don't advocate that here. But do you ever go up on the tree? Can you see much from the top of the treehouse?
Oh no.
You can
No,
see
That's
Black
easy.
Spire Outpost.
Yeah, you'd have to see past the Haunted Mansion and everything. Yeah.
the railroad and the Mark Twain.
That's right. Second story Mark Twain.
That's how you get some nice views of the developing Tiana.
So look for Mike on the Mark Twain. This is an interesting article.
Is it us, or are you just reading
class?
something? Like, hey, ABC News has this interesting article going on.
I've never seen Instagram embed like this, so I honestly did not realize this was an embed. I just thought this was like an ad.
Shannon's video, yes.
Yeah, so I'm like, a merchandise article with no pictures. This is kind of weird.
That was interesting. Shannon Smith, the ambassador for Walt Disney World, gave us a preview of the Tiana's Bayou Adventure merchandise, and it didn't appear on Parks blog. It only appeared on her personal Instagram and the Walt Disney World ambassador Instagram. And this video is super cute. That's the shirt and the new ears.
The ears are gorgeous.
Yeah, Shannon is one of the sweetest people, and I knew how excited she was about this. So it was funny. I don't think anybody else picked this up because it was, like I said, it wasn't put on any of the main social media feeds from them.
That is really cool. I'm glad you found that and passed that on. And,
is that the interesting article, or
that was it? Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Because I'm like, where are the pictures? It's a merchandise article. There's no pictures in this article.
Yeah.
But and I didn't notice that was an Instagram embed. That's from yesterday that we put that up. Yeah, we need to snap. We can snip pictures out of a video. It's fine. All right, let's get back to the Disneyland Resort. I know there's slack for that. Back to the Disneyland Resort.
I was about to PM you.
As much as I get beat up on DTL, I'm okay. Deservedly so, by the way. All right, let's get back to Disneyland Resort, where there's a bunch of stuff happening in downtown Disney. See what happens when you send Mike to downtown Disney? We come back with like 14 downtown Disney articles. So I'll just let you what's going on at downtown Disney, Mike?
Let's see. Lots of construction as they go through a big overhaul on the west side of downtown Disney. They are building that restaurant whose name escapes me at the moment.
Paseo?
No, over by the Disneyland Hotel across from
Din Tai Fung?
Yes, thank you. Also, there's Earl of Sandwich is getting the permanent location built over there by the new stage. And then in the center part of downtown Disney, like you said, Paseo is under construction, getting ready to open in May. And they have a bar there that used to be the Uva Bar, which is becoming Centrico.
Centrico, that's how I'd say it. Centrico,
yeah.
Centrico, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So all that is underway. Plus, this past week, I got to visit and check out the new location for the Disney dress shop, which has temporarily, as they said on the Disney
breaking news from Danielle.
Yeah, check that out. Paseo walls went down today. Woohoo!
I'll be there
going back to downtown Disney.
I'm there tomorrow for Star Wars night, so I'll get pics of that. But yeah, this is in the Wonderland Gallery location, and they did say on the Parks blog that this is temporarily going to be the Disney dress shop for a little while. Yes.
Dude, can you zoom in? Because I can't seem to see any dresses in the will there be dresses in the dress shop at some point?
That's Sarah of Skywalking Through Neverland told me that's been a thing for a while now.
Oh yeah, the dress shop hasn't had dresses in it. The Disney dresses, sorry to cut off, Mike, the Disney dresses line stopped probably about a year ago. So.
I had no idea that there were no longer dresses in the Disney dress shop. So apparently
it's Jimmy's dress and how you dress.
Right.
It didn't last as long as Spirit jerseys.
You know, it didn't occur to me until this very moment that I didn't see any dresses during my visit here. But I did find a great new Muppets shirt that I was very excited about. But they also have this Tomorrowland collection of apparel and other stuff around the shop. And then if you're looking for stuff from Wonderground Gallery, there's a few items next door in Disney Home Shop, which I did not get pictures of, though I should have.
And the Marceline Confectionery, which has been there since opening day, January 12th.
One of the few things that's still there from opening day.
Yeah, it's and it's essentially been what it is since opening day too. It's actually getting a complete refurb. Apparently, they're going to expand it, be completely reimagined. So right now, there's just a temporary cart, or will be. I'm not sure if that construction has started, and then it will be reopening at a later date as a new look, which is just like you said, one of the last remaining things, and not only remaining but remaining unchanged, unlike say Ralph Brennan's Trash Kitchen. So really excited about what they do. Go ahead.
And yeah, we should say that's expanding into the space that was the Disney dress shop. Have they said where the Disney dress shop is going to end up permanently?
I guess wherever it does end up, it's going to be rebranded as Disney Style, because everything that's in that picture is in the Disney Style shop here at Disney Springs, and it'll save the dress shop logo probably.
And I don't know if you've been in the Marceline confectionery, but almost anytime you go in there, you have to pull a number like you do at the supermarket deli. So hopefully this expansion will, help remove the need for that type of system. They'll be able to maybe handle a higher volume of guests more efficiently. So
I didn't realize that it was that popular.
It has been, that number system has been there for years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for Danielle to give us an update on something else. Like, Danielle, what else is going on in downtown Disney?
She is on top of it.
Right. So she said the Paseo walls are down.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So this is the Paseo wall. This is where Catal used to be, right? And these walls are now down. That's
exciting.
That is really exciting. Can't wait to see those pics, Mike.
Yeah.
I bet the folks at the Pele soccer shop and the Love Pop cards are happy about that, because they had to have all these signs like, don't worry, we're still open if you go around the corner.
Forget about me.
I don't understand the Pele soccer. I know it's the contract, but Pele here is insanely popular because of all the tourists. But every time I've gone by it in California, it's been like, anybody?
Gio would like us to know there is a Small World dress, a new Small World dress. So apparently,
Gio's going
to be a thing, but there is one.
Model it for us.
And Danielle, thank you again. The production for candy is in major need of space. And pro tip: mobile order your candy.
Always look for mobile order.
I knew they had that.
Check.
They had that at Disneyland on Main Street for the Candy Palace, but they have it there as well. Oh, Mike, you're gonna have to walk a long way. All the way over to the Disneyland. Do you know where the coffee house is? Over by Goofy's Kitchen?
Yeah.
Stromboli.
Right. I almost said Stromboli. Did you see my mouth go Stromboli?
Let's talk about Stromboli in our discussion forum. Wait, is it 3:00? Is the update up?
What was it? Wait, what did you say? Oh, how funny. Mike, that's when I used to publish the daily news update back in the day. Around 3:00 every day is when I would put up the latest Disney news of the day. And apparently Jeremiah could set his clock by it back in the day.
That was.
I don't know how these websites update multiple times a day. Every time there's a story, you queue them all up and put it all up at once.
We'd queue them all up and hit publish.
Kind of miss those days.
Oh man, do I miss those days! But it's all good.
Don't miss having a server in my house, though.
Oh nope, don't miss that either.
Isn't that what you guys are training Gideon to do?
Ironically, we do have a server. We have a server right over there.
Yeah.
In your office, which is a good place for a server, is the office, not the house.
Coffee house closed until June at least. Where are people getting their morning coffees while this is going on?
They probably have the quick service cart out that they've done before. Oh no, the bar next to what used to be the Steakhouse 55 bar, I think, has coffee right now.
The brass bar is what.
Oh man, the brass bar!
Wow. Doobie. Do you want to go out and rent a pedal boat? Go down and play some video games and underneath the water?
That brass bar had a pizza I did not see. My husband did not eat. It is the only time I have ever seen my husband get served a pizza that he would not eat. He was like, "No, this is not happening."
I'm a vegetarian. I would eat a pepperoni pizza before I ate that thing. I don't know what they did to it, but it was disgusting.
That was the original cauliflower crust, Doobie.
I like cauliflower.
He was so offended by that pizza. Good night. That must be like 25 years ago, and I still remember how
When I said brass bar, that was the first thing I thought of. All right, let's get back to 2024. We talked about what's going on at Disneyland's Downtown Disney. Let's go to Disney World's Downtown Disney now in the year of 2024. And apparently, you can now build a lightsaber at Once Upon a Toy, which I didn't know you couldn't build a lightsaber there. You used to be able to.
Yes, you used to be able to. They took it out. I want to say it was even out before the pandemic, because it was, just that space has gotten smaller and smaller over the years. But it has returned really front and center when you walk into Once Upon a Toy, like to the point where it's kind of obtrusive. There you go. Forget about anything else. It's build your own lightsaber. And it is just like the one that you can now do at the Exit of Star Tours here, the Exit of Star Tours at Disneyland. It's the pick your own pieces, put them together, and the cast members have to deal with the kids, trying to figure out what's going on.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Our friend Nick Tierce was very excited about some of the new pieces that arrived at the Disneyland version. He built a lightsaber that looked like it was all made out of wood, like the Wookiee Gungi's lightsaber from Young Jedi Adventures, or Clone Wars. Sorry, but yeah, there are new pieces too.
Oh, I didn't see
one more thing for you to do tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see any new pieces in there. They had the same old previous to shutdown pieces.
Mike will check out Disneyland, see if we can get a new pieces article up there. And Mike said one of the pieces like wood.
Yeah.
Is it a special kind of wood? Okay. All right.
Hollywood. Come on.
Gotcha.
Universal Studios.
Anytime you mention wood,
Mike, I so wish I could tone that out. Like just like
anytime you mention it, that's where my husband's brain goes instantly to the studio tram tour of Universal. Every time.
Which I don't think they've used that joke in.
Nope. When they stopped going over the bridge.
Right.
I suspect.
Hey, the runaway train's back though, so that's what matters.
I'm so sad.
Runaway train off of the collapsing bridge.
But is the runaway train coming back with Mr. T as the driver?
No, it is not.
Question. Do you remember that?
No.
You
don't remember that?
Mike's too young. He wasn't in California back in those studio days. But they did a like an A-team overlay of the studio's tram tour at the height of its thing, and so they had just like random like Mr. T and Hannibal and whatnot, all kind of sprinkled. There was like, come enjoy the
just go looking. There's a picture of Mr. T. He was the conductor of the runaway train.
Okay. I honestly have no memory of the runaway train ever running in all my visits.
It's probably because you weren't in the second car. You'd be in the fourth, and you'd be like, "What just happened?"
Okay. Once again, let's get back to 2024. And
what fun is that?
And go back to 1900, where 1900 Park Fair reopened a few days ago, April 10th. And you can now go there and, among others, meet Cinderella. You can see her in the background there. But front and center is Nope, that's not Princess Tiana. I mean, she is technically Princess Tiana, but she looks more like restaurant owner Tiana in this picture.
No, she's Explorer Tiana.
Explorer Tiana?
Adventure Tiana.
Apparently she's got lost because she ended up in the Victorian era. But she is at 1900 Park Fair, where they are now open for breakfast and dinner. Character buffet, really, really amazing experience, except for the one time we were there with that guy, and you remember Rebecca. But other than that, a really, really
Don't
amazing
talk about our CEO like that.
No, not that guy. Believe me, not that guy.
It wasn't a guy.
Was it a female?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. She was very drunk.
Yes. Oh, that's right. She was hitting. She was hitting on Prince.
She was hitting on the prince in very uncomfortable ways. Yes.
So inappropriate.
Because she was intoxicated.
In the backseat of a VW?
No.
Anyone?
No, I don't get it.
Nope.
Community reference?
Mallrats.
Okay.
Ooh, Mike is wearing a Disney Plus hat.
And an Avatar shirt?
Is that a recent Disney Plus hat? Because it's like kind of a lighter blue.
I don't recall where I got it from, but let's just say it was courtesy of Disney Plus, just to be safe.
You didn't buy that?
I did buy. I think I got the shirt as a gift because I like the land a lot in Florida.
Until it gets out there and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, why? Let me
Water.
burn all my Pandora stuff.
All right. Let's do a quick Price is Right. Closest to the retail value without going over. How much is dinner at 1900 Park Fair, Rebecca?
Oh, I'm gonna go with
They can eat buffet characters.
I'm going with 65.
Mike.
I'll go up a little bit and I'll say 80.
Jeremiah.
$64.99.
Well, how that works.
I'm sorry. This is the worst Price is Right we're playing in history.
How much is the price, Doobie?
I'm getting there. Rebecca almost had to reach into my pocket. The price is $66 for adults.
I thought it was $64.99.
Apparently, because that's what you guessed. 41 for children. Breakfast is 54 and 34. Again, great experience. The character experience there, when I've gone, is just wonderful, and I love the Grand Floridian. So, recommend it. 1900 Park Fair.
Doobie got the nod one time when we were there.
Wow. I
It was on Blackish.
believe the quote was, "Nice to see you, if you know what I mean."
Yep.
From one of the
That
cooks.
That
One
was
of the guys
exactly
behind
what
the
happened.
buffet.
One of the guys on the line, one of the chefs on the line, said that to my husband when we were at
If
the Grand
you
Floridian.
know what I mean.
Yep.
And I knew what he meant, and
Yep.
it was fun. It was a
Yep.
great memory.
Sounds like a Whose Line Is It Anyway reference to me. So
That's why you're different, Jeremiah. All right. Epcot
I call myself special.
Epcot is
Some of us
58.
do too, Jeremiah. We just
This is not a rumor, Javier. This has been announced to be happening. Date not given, but yes, it will be changing to Disney Adventure World. That is happening.
Yep, that's official, not a rumor.
And we talked about that at the top of the show. If you want to just rewind to the beginning, you can hear us all.
Until they change their minds.
I wish I could dial up the Jeremiah I want, because I like this Jeremiah. I want this Jeremiah every week.
I will try to bring it every week, Doobie.
Epcot is getting a
It shall
lounge
be brought in.
for annual pass holders opening May 1st through June 18th from noon to 8 p.m. And the best part, it is in Restaurant Marrakesh, Morocco. We now will be able to go back into Morocco, relive all those belly dancing memories we've had over the years.
I'll belly dance for you, Doobie. If
No,
you know what
stop.
I mean.
This is not the Jeremiah I want. Stop, go back.
By the way, what helmet is that? That's just like a weird stormtrooper, Mike.
That is a flame trooper from The Mandalorian.
Oh wow, that's cool. And you have
Among
Lola too.
What's that?
Is that
Doobie,
Lola?
the train is going off the tracks, my friend.
I'm going to get through this. Among the perks you get, Restaurant Marrakesh. It's not open as a restaurant, but you could just go in there. Chill out in an air-conditioned area, complimentary snacks and water, charge your mobile devices, pick up your complimentary password button, and special friends may stop by to say hello. That's kind of a cool lounge, honestly.
It is a cool lounge, but I will tell you this from the last time they did this. It is very much, almost every time I went into it previously, there was like an hour wait for the characters. It was like trying to go to the AP meet and greet for the characters in DCA, where it's just like you walk in, you either have a line here or a line there, and
I will just enjoy it from a distance while I sit in my air conditioning and charge my phone and enjoy a complimentary snack or water.
I loved going there as a mom. That was my go-to place with Giddy because it was easy to get, right? Because it wasn't a very busy location. It had food I enjoyed because I like Mediterranean cuisine, and it was loud music and dancing and stuff, and so it kept my toddler entertained, so I could actually sit and enjoy a meal in the air conditioning. So it was win-win-win.
Win-win for sure. Agreed. Disney World has a lot of new discounts that are out. I won't go through all the details, but their Florida residents can get up to 30% off most nights, July 8th through October 3rd. Non-Florida residents for longer stays can also get up to 30% off. Free dining can now be booked for Disney Visa card holders. Yes, Jeremiah.
Doobie, you're talking about these great discounts. Where is some place that somebody could book these?
Well, see, you can book them on your own, but then it gets really complicated with waiting
I don't
hold.
yeah, I don't know how to
Am
do
I
that.
getting the best discount? Should I do free dining? Free dining sometimes pays for itself, sometimes doesn't. So I recommend you use a Disney travel agent, specifically mousefantravel.com, our partner travel agent here at Laughing Place, who we have all used at one time or another, some of us many, many times. They will take care of you. It doesn't cost a dime extra to use a Disney travel agent, and it definitely can save you money in terms of making sure you don't miss out on any of the great discounts. Have someone to wait on hold for you when you need to make changes and stuff. I saw someone actually ask a question, and this is for real. Like, I think it was on Reddit. Like, I can book a trip myself. Should I use a Disney travel agent? And it just seems like the most no-brainer question in the world. Always use a Disney travel agent. There's no reason not to. You can still call Disney yourself and do stuff you want to, but there are times you don't need to. Just let them do it for you. Donna just came back from Walt Disney World. Our good friend Donna, she used Mouse Fan Travel. They were wonderful. Use them. Tell them Laughing Place sent you. Even if you don't want to use Mouse Fan Travel for whatever reason, just as some sincere travel planning advice, use a Disney travel agent. It just makes your life easier. There is no downside. No downside. Okay, let us move on to two non-Disney things. Our Universal East Coast expert is going to tell us about two new Universal hotels opening next year. Jeremiah?
Yes, there are two new Universal hotels opening next year.
All right, and
They are stellar.
Nice.
Tell me about it.
What?
You said stellar, and I said tell me about it.
Nova, not a chance. No, Universal is expanding with the Epic Universal's Epic Universe theme park opening sometime next year. Of course, they're expanding their hotels to accommodate more guests over that way, and these are two of them. It's very interesting. This is the second time that they've kind of done these twin hotels. More hotel rooms means more employment for everybody around here, which is always a good thing. And that hopefully will, at some point, I know this isn't going to happen, but mean that hotel rooms won't be so expensive around theme parks.
These are going to be starting at $147, which is actually relatively cheap for a nice hotel around a Disney theme park. The Stella Nova.
I will say, we have stayed at Universal's value or budget or whatever, this kind of like lower tier, not the super premium that they have over there too. And we love them. We stayed at Surfside. We stayed at the other one.
Dockside.
Surfside and Dockside. We've stayed at Cabana Bay. Amazing amenities. The pools are wonderful. The transportation between our hotel and the resort was phenomenal.
The free floaties to sit in the river. Oh wait.
Yeah. No. but people are nice. You often get someone else's cast off.
And Cabana Bay is probably one of the coolest hotels. Like, it's just a lot of fun.
For the money it costs us to stay there, I would choose Cabana Bay over a Disney resort just because it's a really fun with a great pool. And just Mouse Fan Travel, they'll help you there too. They cover Universal Studios. They do. They'll take care of you there as well. Universal Stella Nova opens January 21st of next year, and Terra Luna opens February 25th of next year. Prices starting at $147, combined 1,500 luminous, ultra-modern, and surreal guest rooms. The last thing I wanted to talk about today involves Mike Celestino, and perhaps he could wax eloquently on the tragedy, the sadness that is the closing, the official closing, the permanent closing of Evermore Theme Park.
Jeremiah and I both got to go to the grand opening of Evermore Park in Provo, Utah. It was a great idea. We actually, my wife and I went on our own for some anniversary at some point in the last few years before pre-pandemic, um, and had a good time. It was interesting how it had evolved. I think it was a year gap between my two visits, and there were big changes in the way it was being operated even between those two times. And yeah, sadly, it just didn't work out in the long run. It always both times I went, it felt like there was major construction like waiting to happen, and they never quite finished it, I don't think. But yeah, the idea was it was like an immersive medieval fantasy theme park. It didn't have a lot of rides. There was a train that went around the perimeter, but it was mostly about interacting with the characters and following along in a story that played out sort of like if you've been to Ghost Town Alive at Knott's Berry Farm, or even a little bit of Galactic Star Cruiser, that sort of idea. Although I will say, like, when Jeremiah and I went, it seemed like the story would repeat every night. So that was my impression. And then by the time Tori and I went the following year, this is what we were really surprised by, was that the story was continuing like where it had left off the previous day, which kind of blew my mind. And I really wanted to, we were following, Tori was paying more attention than I was to the Facebook group where people were keeping track of like the ongoing character relationships and stuff like that. So it did have its fans, locals that lived in the area and were trying to go as often as possible. I was very curious to see what would happen eventually. Sadly, it didn't last terribly long in the long run, but an interesting experiment for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, just like you, Mike, when Benji and I went back out, like Mike and I had a great time. We were like, okay, we're going to learn, we're going to do this. And then as I learned from people that I know, the locals had taken over the storylines and had turned it into the evolving. So, and this is one of my complaints about Ghost Town Alive is I went there one day and couldn't get into the story because it was so far gone from trying to even start learning about it. That's how Evermore had turned into. But the landlord of the property has promised that they are going to redo it as a entertainment venue at some point. I know that the Evermore company is no longer associated in any way, shape, or form with it.
Maybe Area 51 is coming to Utah. He's like, it would fit very well there.
You mean 15, right?
Did I say 15? Did I say 51?
Yeah, you said 51.
That never happened.
It was on our discussion board.
I saw when I went to Vegas, I went to an IAPA thing in Vegas, and the chief marketing officer, I can't remember if it was the CMO or COO for Area 15 was there and got it out the way right at the start. We're going to say 51. It's okay. We all make that mistake.
That's awesome.
And I continue to. Anything else we wanted to discuss before we say goodbye? Goodbye, good friends, goodbye.
Oh, we didn't, sorry, I probably should have looked at the list, but we didn't talk about the new food item offerings, food menu for May the 4th.
Before you do that, can you talk briefly about, unless we did it last week, I don't think we did, you getting to see the fireworks?
Yeah, so I went for the media day, which was opening day of Season of the Force at Disneyland, and had a great time, but the missing element that day was the fireworks show, which is called Fire of the Rising Moons. It didn't happen because of weather on the opening night. So I did go back last Tuesday, which would have been after our previous Disney Parks Talk show, and I got to see Fire of the Rising Moons, which is basically you're watching the Disneyland fireworks from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's the same fireworks, same pyrotechnics, but if you're in Galaxy's Edge, they have now synced up John Williams music to the fireworks. And I actually really liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, mostly because they incorporated and heavily featured one of my favorite Star Wars tracks, the asteroid field from The Empire Strikes Back. That was like the whole middle section was just that track, and I thought it worked really well. They were really, I was really impressed with how they synced up the music to the pyro. Although they did have to tinker with, like, I know those music tracks by heart, and they had to tinker with them a little bit. Like, there were little edits that I noticed, but otherwise, yeah, I thought it was really cool. There's a new intro that introduces a new character called the Lore Weaver, and his droid, which is called Bard, Bard. Our friend Nick is similarly obsessed with that new introduction to the Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge canon. Although you don't get to see them in person, I think he was suspecting that we might eventually see Bard the droid in person, but that hasn't happened yet. So very cool. I liked it a lot. You can watch my video on the Laughing Place YouTube channel.
You recorded that from the Millennium Falcon, right? Which had a little bit of extra background music.
I camped out, right. That was my other little minor complaint. I camped out for a few hours, maybe a little bit more, to see it from basically the main centralized space. There are a few different recommended viewing locations, but I was right there in front of the Millennium Falcon in the spaceport area, and great place to watch it. But my immediate thought was, oh, they got to turn down the noise that the Millennium Falcon is always making, this loud, like, hissing noise, which you don't notice when you're there at any other time of the day because it just kind of fades into the background. But when you're trying to listen to that music and you just hear a loud hissing, which you can hear it loud as day on my video too, but it was really distracting.
And then you wanted to talk about May the 4th?
Yeah, so this morning the Disney Parks blog released all the food items coming for the May the 4th celebration this year, I think on both coasts.
And Paris.
And Paris, okay. I didn't pay too much attention to the stuff I couldn't eat because I'm selfish, but I do want to get the new collectible Lothcat mug from Oga's Cantina. And
I will say that the treat right here that you're looking at, that's the triangle shape, that's inspired by Young Jedi Adventures.
Okay,
so
yes,
we're once again seeing them bring an element of that storyline into the Batuu celebration. So that's cool. I like that. And then there's that mug. That is amazing.
So this is the Lothcat mug. That'll look really nice alongside your Porg mug or the Ewok one from Galaxy's Edge. I'm glad they're adding to that collection. And then this is also inspired by Young Jedi Adventures. As again, I'm going to keep citing Nick because I get most of my information from him. But he put up a side-by-side comparison of a shot from Young Jedi Adventures of the character Nubs drinking out of basically that cup, not with the crazy straw, but that is a fun addition to something that looks like it came right out of the Star Wars galaxy. So excited to get both of those items, some new cookies.
Those are at Disneyland Paris.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of them is, I believe the ones on the left are the waffles, which they had years ago during the Season of the Force, which are very good. And they have the new Chewbacca donut at Disneyland Paris, or at Walt Disney Studios Park.
Awesome. May the 4th. Still time to book your trip.
How, Doobie?
Through Mouse Fan Travel. Thank you, Jeremiah.
I'll be there on May the 4th. I have a full day that day. I have 3 different things going on, but the last one of them is I'm going to go down to Disneyland and hopefully get my hands on some of that stuff. So,
and if you see Mike Celestino while he is trying to get through his day, please stop him, engage him in a long conversation about why the prequels are the superior trilogy, and make us all smile here at Laughing Place. Anything else from anybody before we say goodbye? All right. Well, thank you once again, Roosevelt's, for Jeremiah's shirt, because I've been swimming with him, and I appreciate the shirt. Thank you, Disney, for Mike's cap. Thank you, God, for my wonderful wife. And thank you all for watching this edition of Disney Park Talk Live. Bye, everybody.